Hello everyone. Welcome to today's drawing practice. Thank you to everyone who watched the recordings that I had air in my absence the past few days. It was so cool, and I loved, although I wasn't here live streaming, I saw your work and I saw that people were watching anyway, so that was a good test of seeing what it's like to do pre-recorded videos and having them released. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in for those. So a little bit late now, I just had a very lovely and intimate drawing session for part of Let's Face It 2025, and I was sketching with these crayons again, talking about drawing with shape. And I will just show you my workspace. We're going to be drawing from another 1920s mugshot here of Edward Dalzell, who interestingly also has the alias George Clampett, Thomas Edward Dalzell, Horace Holmes, Henry Smith, Ernest Thompson, Frederick Williams, and Thomas Williams, who on the 2nd of September 1922 was suspected of break and enter with intent to steal. Suspected. What does that even mean? So Edward, with many names, we'll be drawing today. You can already start sketching if you like. And I'll show you. Well, I'll just get rid of Edward for a moment because I really like the way all of these portraits are sitting together here. Oh, here we go. So the way they inhabit the space on this page together. And it was interesting because, I started with this one from the mugshots last week, and then went on to do these. These were from the recordings and the last live stream. So it's nice to be back here live. So great to see you, Ingrid, Sandra, Ellen, Linda, Lewis, and Ulverine. And anyone else who's here watching live, please hello in the chat. There are 20 of you. Please say hello in the chat and hit the thumbs up button if you haven't already. So this month, I want to focus on values. And so I'm going to bring Edward back, and I want to start. I feel like it's going to be an ink month for me because I really enjoyed this series, and I was craving getting back to using the parallel pen. So I'm going to be talking about values a lot this month. That's what the focus is going to be. So it's going to be incorporating. Feel free to use line work to go with the big shapes. Any combination of things. Oh, and by the way, tomorrow, so just speaking of shapes, tomorrow I'll be filming my Drawing Without Lines tutorial for my Patreon, which will be up for your viewing pleasure very soon. And these are the sketches I just did in the Let's Face It session with these kindergarten crayons, big blocks of wax and pigment, and it was really fun. And for those of you who were there, I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. Corinna is here. Aren't you in Morocco? Corinna, where are you? Corinna has been traveling around. Nice to see you back in the chat. So these are the sketches I just did without lines for Let's Face It. And if you're from the Let's Face It crew, they will be uploaded to sketch along with in the coming days. So now, oh, see that little tear coming over to the new spread here. I'm going to work with the parallel pen. And if you were here, if you were watching the lives or watching the replays of the pre-recorded videos, how was it for you? How did it differ to the live experience? Because it's the possibility of doing pre-recorded streams that then you can watch them whenever, but they were premiered like a live stream, so people were able to hang out and draw together. It's a very interesting idea and something I may do a bit more of. You're home, Corinna. Amazing. Must have been such an incredible journey. Okay. So I had this idea. I'll use the parallel pen, and this is going to be pretty simple, and it's pretty late. But I'm focusing on values all this month. Please sketch with me all month. I'm going to... Did I laser my eyes? No, but I do need to get new glasses. I wore them for driving, but when I sit here, I'm like, I'm going to get new glasses. Count the days until I get new glasses. Hi Maya, Martina. We had such a restful trip. Thank you, Martina. It was like the most low-key, so chilled. It was really good. So, all right, let's do it. Let's sketch. Maybe later I can read a little... Oh, master safe breaker. So he's suspected but known to be a master safe breaker. I can read a little bit more, but I've got to start drawing. 5 minutes in, I haven't done anything yet. It seems to work fine without. I can still draw without them. So my idea today was I'm going to be squinting a lot anyway, so it may look like I need glasses, because I do. I want to do a no-tan style image here where it's going to be reduced to black and white. These, like the most basic way of reducing like what is a very complex and subtle and beautiful image, and trying to do it in just two values. And there are interesting ways of going about this, like just doing it in, like putting a timer on for 30 seconds would probably be a really cool way. But that's not what I'm doing. But squinting is very helpful. Squint and be like, how much of that ear can I actually see? Yeah, so moving in, I'm very happy about the topic this month, values. Last month was really interesting, kind of confusing, but educational and confusing in a good way. Being like, what am I doing if I'm not drawing with lines? How can I do this? How can I explore in this way? And I would love to know from you how you found the last month, whether you're watching the live or the replay. Was there anything any insights for you? Or if there's anything particular you'd like me to address in the tutorial, which I'm going to film tomorrow for Patreon, about the approach of drawing without line. If there's something from the last month that was really of interest to you, or challenging, or just in general, you're still like, what does that mean to do a drawing without lines? Let me know, because tomorrow I'm going to film this tutorial, and whatever fresh kind of input I have from you, I can integrate into my thought process as I film and draw for you tomorrow. And if you're interested in watching that tutorial and all my others on Patreon, my monthly tutorials, then there is a link in the description where you can join my Patreon, which is also just in general a very good way of supporting me here and getting videos, tutorials to learn from every month, learning together. People have said things. Gabriella, hello. Linda, you just realized yesterday you need new glasses too. Did you put them on and then realize this is not better? That's kind of like what it was like for me. When I was moving my head around, trying to find the best part of the lens. Where can I actually see through these glasses? Yes. On my to-do list. New glasses. So all of that kind of scratching around here was, this is really interesting. Like as I'm looking at the ear, it totally makes sense to me what I'm drawing. But as I look at it like this, I'm like, wow, what's this? Like a really, really abstract shape. this actually, I have a brush that would be really good at this. This pen's great because it has such a broad nib for like filling in areas. But big black areas, like the brush is the most effective way to fill them. So I really want to keep this clear and just 2 values. But this month, I would definitely be exploring hatching, because I think the calligraphy pen is such a great drawing tool. So I love what I was doing last week with the water brush. We'll do some of that as well. But hatching with the calligraphy pen was like it was like a breakthrough way of drawing for me. And I have done quite a few tutorials and even a whole course about drawing with the calligraphy pen, and I'm thinking about making a new one because it's been a while. Yeah, it's just such a fun way to build up values. And that's the thing, if you're working with ink and it's like, oh, how can I express the subtlety of all these different shapes with such a bold, solid medium, like this solid dark ink, then yeah, hatching is a way to do it. And when I talk about hatching, I'm not, there are people who do cross hatching to great effect and it's incredible, but it's not something I really enjoy doing. So we'll get into that, like how I like to hatch in some of the coming days. Martina, these parallel pens, the side of your hand is all stained. Yes. You have to. You don't have to do anything, but there's a way of learning to draw. Like I often use my finger just as like a. I can put my hand down because you don't want to lean down. So there are a few things to do. Putting paper under your hand helps. Floating your hand by just putting like one finger down and drawing like that can help, because getting a lot of ink on your hands is definitely part of the learning experience with parallel pens and working with ink in general. But it's so cool to see so many of you experimenting with them, and I've just enjoyed them so much as a drawing tool, which you may have gathered. So it's interesting here. It's quite dark around the eyes, and I feel like I'm trying to go soft to imply some of the subtlety of what's in there. But this idea of just using 2 values, there's not like a lot of the light that I see in there. I can't. If I want to convey the shadow, I can't really leave it as light as I feel like I normally would. And squinting down to really make your values clear is such a great way of figuring out how dark things actually are. Because there's a thing where I've often had, like, I'll be like well into rendering something, and then I realized, the whole thing, that whole eye socket is just way too light. And then if I look at the whole image rather than just the area I'm kind of zeroed in on and squint, I'm like, the whole thing, like all of that rendering and drawing I've done, it's all way too bright. I've got to go darker. So yeah, like squinting a lot can really help you kind of figure out. I'll be squinting a lot this month as we look through values. It's something that I often do anyway. I'll just like kind of quickly squint. And really interesting. It was great in the Let's Face It session I just did. Someone was like, can you talk about why you're doing what you're doing? Which made me realize a lot of things that I have kind of automated in my practice, like squinting and how I'll move from one thing to another thing. It's kind of if there are things that you see and you're like, why did he just do that? Feel free to call me out to them and ask me, why did you do that? Because, yeah, I think as we practice and develop, learn our ways of doing things, that it's often the case that certain things just become internalized, things which can take years of practice, that when they become like an automated part of the process, that that I may forget to talk about. So if there's something that you're like, why did you just do that thing? You can ask. And Lucas is here. Hello, long time no see. The teacup pinky, yes, that is the inky teacup pinky. How you doing, Lucas? Nice to see your name in the chat. And if you're watching and have not yet said hello in the live chat, please do. It's always nice to know who's here. Maybe you've never been here before. Maybe you've been here every time and have never yet said hello. That's up to you. And you can tell me what you would like. What would you like to see in this month of focusing on value? Is there something in particular, something that confuses you, something that you just love above all else and would like to see me try? I don't know. Like I'm really interested to know from you, what would you like to see me address and try? And by the way, I know a lot of you love these mugshots, and I do too. And I have this incredible book, which still has a lot of mugshots that we haven't drawn from yet. But I was wondering, like, it's so cool. I love being able to share these with you. And I was talking with Kira about it today. And I was saying, like, people love the mugshots. I love the mugshots. And we were talking about, and I don't know if Sabra's here, but Sabra said something in one of her live streams where she was saying how it used to be only nobility and saintly or church people who got painted, the very wealthy. And it was when artists started being like, I'm going to paint this like not famous, not wealthy person. I'm just going to take them, sit them down, and I'm going to do a portrait of this person. And then that was kind of like, who is this person? Why are they worthy of being painted? As opposed to being a wealthy individual who commissioned something, or to be part of some group or institution which has the wealth to commission art. And it's been very interesting just the past few days hanging out. We went to an exhibition in Zutphen. Kira and I just talking about stuff like who commissions art, like how has art changed through history, the act of making it and the act of its accessibility, who gets to practice making art these days compared to back in the day, like what were things, what's going on, what has happened, what has changed. So this thing of, it used to be that only the wealthy and influential would have portraits painted of them. And then there was a whole bunch of people that were like, I'm just going to paint my friend. I'm going to paint my kid. I'm going to paint that person from next door. I'm going to paint this person who sells the cheese at the market. Like just painting these normal people. And then I realized they're talking about, so that was a conversation we were having. And then I was like, oh, people love the mugshots. And then we realized it's the same reason why it's so interesting. And it's like, and I was thinking, oh, it'd be cool to have like another book, another photography book, or there's also something interesting about the time traveling element of it. It was 100 years ago, over 100 years ago, that Edward was arrested and photographed, and we're sitting here on YouTube sketching this person, and it's like there's this wonderful time traveling aspect to it. And as we were talking about it, was like it's the same thing as when artists started just painting normal people instead of the rich and powerful, because these are people, these criminals, and some of them are just like wrong place, wrong time, it seems. Like these people wouldn't have had, this is like the dawn of photography, and these people probably would not have gone and gotten their photos taken. But it's something which would have been the in the realms of the elite, perhaps, like hobby photographers. Oh, this fancy new technology, let's sit around and take our photo. And there's something wonderful about these old photos, but it's kind of like, who had access to photography back then? And then to realize that that's part of what's so interesting about these mugshots, is like, these are not the people who went and got their photos taken necessarily. Yeah, and so that was really interesting kind of insight into why is it that I and so many of you really love these mugshots. Why are they so interesting to work from? What is it about these faces that's so kind of, or these people and their story, what's so compelling? And I feel like it's a multifaceted thing of why it's so interesting and so much fun to work from these. And all of these people, I appreciate that we were able to draw them, whatever their life decisions were, whatever the historical context which led to whatever it was that they were doing. These are all just people trying to get by in the 1920s, and yeah, it's interesting. All right, do I make that darker? It's like, when I squint at it, it's really dark compared to the rest. But when I open my eyes, I'm like, it's not that dark. But it could be interesting if this was darker. What are people saying over here? Hi, Nana. Hi, Gretchen. Lucas is doing great. Started uni, so it's a bit stressful. Good luck with that. That's the reason why you weren't here in a while. Well, it's nice to have you here now. Good luck with uni. And whenever you have a moment to come and draw, you're always welcome. So it's been six months now of daily portrait practice since the Advent series. This is almost it for today, and I'm just going to read a little bit more about Edward to you. So yeah, this is really reduced, just the two values. Values is the theme of the month. There's a lot undrawn here, I feel like. And even just this, it'd be interesting to do this whole thing again. Because I feel like even this two-value approach, there are so many different ways, so many different decisions that we could make about what is it that is worthy of emphasis, of being shown. It's so interesting. Such an interesting exercise. It could have been much briefer, but it wasn't today. But what I have to say is Edward Denzel, of many names. If you have not yet hit the thumbs up button, by the way, please do. Please subscribe to my channel. And if you want to get this pen, there's a link in the description. If you shop at Amazon, if you deign to do so, then you could get this pen from Amazon, and there are links in my bio. And it's a very cool pen. I'm going to make a video about it very soon, dedicated to this pen. Okay, so Edward Dalzell. alias George Clampett, Thomas Edward Dalzell, Horace Holmes, Henry Smith, Ernest Thompson, Frederick Williams, Thomas Williams. That is a lot of names for one person to have. On the 2nd of September 1922, was arrested, suspected of breaking and entering with intent to steal. Master safebreaker Dalzell and an accomplice broke into a store intending to steal goods. They were spotted by police, who opened fire and shot the accomplice in the leg. Dalzell got away, but was found the next day in bed with his lover and placed under arrest. He appealed to the court by quoting the description of mercy in Shakespeare's The Merchant of Venice. "Blesseth him that gives and him that takes." The magistrate was unmoved and sentenced Dalzell to 2 years hard labour. That was a nice little story to accompany this portrait. Thank you for being here all the way to the end for that little storytelling session. And if any of you have if you want to put your drawing hand emoji in the chat, please do. If any of you have incredible historical portrait book recommendations or something, or an online web source, I have this book which I love and cherish, and many people have asked. It was part of an exhibition, and I'm not sure if you can get it outside of Australia, but I will look into it. Maybe it's still available. My darling sister got it for me for my birthday 2 years ago. Underworld, mugshots from the Roaring Twenties. So I'll definitely sketch some more of these. I've loved seeing your versions of these portraits. And maybe I'll do a few different versions of Edward. But for now, it's bedtime. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Gretchen. I love that you loved it. Thank you for the love, everyone. And see you again tomorrow for more value exploration. It's going to be a very exciting month. So please tell all your friends, share your work. Will be high key, low key, hatching, this kind of 2 value, 3 value. Let's explore some different things. I think this is going to be really, really good. And as I mentioned, I'm going to be filming my drawing with only shapes tutorial. I'm going to film it tomorrow. And if you're interested, check out my Patreon. Become a Patreon. Thank you very much. You're all wonderful. Thank you for being here. And thank you, Edward.